Right then, hello everyone and welcome back to the Assetto Corsa Offline Championship here for round number 10 of the 2020 Formula 1 World Championship as we're here for the first race of the German double headers. We're here at the Hockenheimring for the German Grand Prix. We're here for 12 minutes of the first stage of qualifying. In the commentary booth today, it is me, your commentator Miran, and joining me for this weekend, surprisingly for the first time this weekend, it is Jamie. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Marin. Yes, it is. It is my first time being here this weekend. We're here for the Hockenheim qualifying as it stands. It's the last three now, the last three races of this season so far that it's going to be hosted in Europe. Currently in Hockenheim. Next week will be in the IFL Grand Prix for the Nürburgring, and then finally we'll be in Portugal, which will be the final round of the European leg in this season. But this will be very interesting. This track has had a lot of history in ACUC and in motorsport history, which we'll go through very shortly. And this will surely bring in for a compelling qualifying session here.
Indeed, and making a nice little segue onto the track as Thomas Mandich will start his lap. The track located in the town of Hockenheim in the German region of Baden-Württemberg is called the Hockenheim Baden-Württemberg and was opened all the way back in 1932. It was originally called the Dreieckskurs, which translates to triangle course from German. The track was around 12 kilometers long and consisted of a large triangle-like section, a hairpin in the city of Hockenheim, and two straights connecting them. So it was a very fast, but also very dangerous track, and it was revamped during the 1940s and 1950s. Obviously, had Formula 1 come here for the first time in 1970, and it would run intermittently all the way up until 2019, swapping places with the Nürburgring track, the track which we are also coincidentally going to next week. But the track has seen a lot of action, especially from European and a few intercontinental series as well. Most notably, DTM has been a staple at this track since 2000. You've had things like World Superbikes, the German Motorcycle Grand Prix also used to run here. This track featured motorcycle races before Formula 1 used to come here. You've had the World Sports Car Championship, and then the 24-hour series as well, and even Rallycross used to come here a few years. But this track, which has been in place since 2002, redesigned by infamous track architect Hermann Tilke, is 4.5 kilometers long, features 17 turns, and we should expect lap times in about the mid 110s. But this track is quite the challenge for the drivers. Doesn't feature a lot of elevation due to it's situated near the Rhine Valley, but it is still quite a challenge for drivers and teams alike. What do you make of the track, Jamie?
Yeah, so whenever this track was first incepted, it was first created, the pure thing that was very different from this track from the rest of the others was speed. However, due to the reprofiling by Hermann Tilke in 2002, it's a completely different kind of track now, and it poses some different challenges. Like you've said, it was reprofiled, so now it's going to be all about downforce. Having visited here in person, it's a very special track, especially in the German motorsport as well. But very interesting to note is the final sector as well. That Sachs curve there, that has stayed since 1966. It has stood against the test of time, and it proves to be a very challenging place for drivers, and you can expect to see a lot of overtakes there, especially in those last sector for sure.
I didn't know you've been here, Jamie, but I agree. It is a track combining modern elements with a lot of old school elements, as you said, to make it a very, very nice track. But all the 20 times are on the board then. Here for Q1, Jesper Johansson is fastest from Wojta Kulasek in second. Your bottom five at the moment is Emilia Konishina, followed by Jafari Blackwood, Giulia Cesetti, Ennis Parachki, and Lewis McIntyre. So the question is, what has happened to Parachki and McIntyre? And Josef Frederick Schuto as well has got himself out of Q1 for the time being.
Yeah, McIntyre is down there in the 118s. That's very worrisome for the McLaren driver, although it could be a traffic as well. And as we've said about the old school elements, this track is actually not very wide. It's very hard to overtake here. Kulisic goes a provisional pole, and as Parachki goes ahead and gets a provisional pole, which is what he really needs to do in order to get himself out of that position. But Lewis McIntyre, I think he's still in a fast lap car at the moment, so I'm sure he'll improve and get himself out of Q1, because if he's not, then that's going to be a very dangerous position for the McLaren driver to be in.
Yeah, McIntyre will be wanting to improve, but great stuff from Wojtek Kulasek so far. He's got himself ahead of Jesper Johansson, but Enis Parachki has gotten himself to safety would be an understatement, but he is on provisional pole, or not provisional pole, but he's fastest at the moment. McIntyre will be wanting to get himself out there shortly, as he's the only man in the 118s, so he must have probably made a mistake somewhere on his lap. The two Red Bulls not looking too good at the moment in Q1, but as we have seen many times this season, Red Bull do like to save up the car in Q1 and Q2 and then try and push all out for Q3. So, yeah. And they've got the sister team up there as well. Emil Nilsson running in P6 with Alexander Arnold there in 11th. Arnold, who this will be his final qualifying this season at least, as Samet Özkan will return to the helm of his AlphaTauri at the Nürburgring.
Yeah, well, his Alexander's performance so far in these three races so far has been very good. Actually, he scored 2 points, which are both very valuable to the AlphaTauri team as well. He has showed really good performances and good comebacks and qualifying as well. Qualifying is one of his strong suits as well. That he's managed to bring that car up so there, as we see Franco Gamba as being held up by the Alfa Romeo driver. But yeah, I think Alexander Arnold in his stint in F1 could look back on it as proud as he returns to Porsche Super Cup after this race.
Yeah, Alexander Arnold, I have to say, one of the strongest qualifiers on the F1 grid, in my opinion. My mind goes back. Oh yeah, my mind goes back to his 2018 season. His first with Mercedes, obviously, where he would take a total of 4 poles that season, which I do believe was the most of any driver that season. I think he was tied with Dennis Graf only on poles that season. So he is a brilliant qualifier, and in the AlphaTauri car, he's done very well. So I wouldn't discount him out of an F1 seat possibly next season. As McIntyre goes across the line, he goes up into 14th. Still a bit uncertain for the Brit, but that should be enough to get him out of the elimination zone for the time being.
Yeah, and that puts the Williams now down into the elimination zone in qualifying 1. So fortunately, their fortunes are not actually turned yet for the better now. As we approach the 3-minute mark left to go, you can just see all the cars that are going out on track. It's not very wide, and it's going to be very hard to overtake. So if there's going to be traffic, it's going to be hard to navigate you around with all the dirty air from the car produce ahead to produce a clean time.
Yeah, a lot of guys are scrambling to get laps in. Giulia Cesetti is in, so don't know if she's going to go out anytime soon. But yeah, Dennis Graf, a race winner the first time we came here, obviously, in 2018. Currently stuck behind Laban Zasnishkai in 15th there, as Emil Nilsson goes up at the 6th. But Zasnishkai, who currently sits in 15th and just bordering the elimination zone, as Alexander Arnold goes across the line. The man who also is in his home race goes up into P4. Very, very well done. He's actually gone ahead of Alfred Klaus at the moment as McIntyre goes across the line, and it will be 12th for the Brit at the moment. But McLaren, I don't know what is going on with them right now, as they're 12th and 16th. Fernando Tost is down to 17th. Yeah, Konishina is going to cross the line. Emilia does not improve though, so she will stay in the elimination zone. But things are not looking good for the Woking outfit.
No, definitely not. That's very surprising there for Fernando Tost, especially given the position that we currently see them in. Having them being eliminated in Q1, especially given the circumstances at the moment, is definitely not the way that Fernando Tost would want it to go. He really needs to change his fortunes around. As Jafari Blackwood now goes ahead and gets into 17th, though he's not improved, so essentially goes ahead and improves up into 9th. But that's very disappointing for Tost. Vale.
Whoa! That is a great lap from Daniel Wall out of absolutely nowhere. He gets he gets that Alfa Romeo all the way up into 4th. Great stuff from Daniel Walla, as he will now get himself 12 positions ahead of his teammate. But one man we haven't mentioned this qualifying is Victor Albom in 14th at the moment, who is currently outside of the eliminations. As McIntyre goes up to 10th, and now he is safe and through into Q2 most likely.
Tost is in the pits, so he's out.
It's a massive shame for Fernando Tost, the man who had an absolutely electric 2019 season. As Konishina goes across the line up into P14, is it gonna be a double Q2? Is it gonna be double Q2 appearances for both Alfa Romeo cars? It could very well be, as Luca Farina in the Ferrari is now into the elimination zone.
Ooh,
And he's in!
In the pits! He's out!
Farina will be starting P16. That is massive shame, as Jafari Blackwood's going to go across the line. It's 11th for Jafari Blackwood. Both Hasses right now are through into Q2, and as the time ticks down, Zasnishka is into the pit lane. Walla is in after a brilliant effort. Albom goes across the line. He does not improve. What about Giulia Cesetti? Cesetti does not improve. Alexander Arnold will be next across the line. The man who is in a brilliant P5 at the moment will go across the line. He goes up into 4th and ahead of Daniel Walla.
Yeah, very good there for Alexander Arnold. He goes up to 4th. What about McIntyre? He's been improving consistently ever since he was down P18. Is he going to improve more? He does so once again, and he gets himself up to 6th, which will comfortably get him in there. Kozinchia, she is safe into Q2 because all of them are in the pits or finished their laps. But is there going to be any more positions gained? Stays 15th at the moment. And Enes Parachki, he still leads once again. What about Johansson? What do you think? Will he improve?
Doesn't need it, but he does improve, and he gets himself ahead of the Renault Wojtek Kulasek to make it a Mercedes 1-2 in Q1. Jafari Blackwood in a brilliant 11th at the moment is going to round the final corner. Let's see if he can manage to squeeze out anything else out of that Haas car. Not yet, or not in Q1 at least, as Kulasek in 3rd will go across the line. It doesn't improve. What about Dennis Groff? He goes up into 6th. So looking a bit better for him. What about Victor Albom? Can he get himself out of the elimination zone? No! And Albom will unfortunately be knocked out of Q1. Giulia Cesetti should be the final car across the line. No, I think Alexander Arnold's going to get a lap time in as well. He does not improve. And that is Q1 done and dusted. Enes Parachki leads Jesper Johansson. Classic stuff in Q1. But your bottom 5 will be Victor Albom, followed by Luca Farina, Fernando Tost, Josef Frederic Schuto, and Giulia Cesetti. So the main talking point will be Luca Farina, obviously, in the Ferrari. I do wonder what went wrong. Maybe Ferrari misjudged some strategy calls with sending Luca out in Q1, but the pace just wasn't there for him.
Yeah, if correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is second Q1 elimination so far this season. And given Ferrari's performances in the previous seasons, being down in Q1 is not going to be very favorable, especially for Luca Farina, and especially in a track like this, though. But whatever comes as one's demise is another's fortunes, as we've seen both Alfa Romeos getting themselves into Q2. And Jafari Blackwood as well, the Haas driver, also into Q2 as well. So that is a real surprise to me.
Indeed, I think it is the first time we've had both Alfa Romeos into Q2 this season. I could be mistaken, but seems like it at the moment at least. But yeah, very, very well done from him. One team that also is looking very good is, well, not to mention Alpha Tauri, but I would say Renault as well, looking really strong in Q1. We've seen that on a lot of occasions before, where Renault do seem really strong in Q1, and they do kind of falter in Q2 and Q3. Do you think that trend is going to continue here?
We shall see as Q2 will soon get underway, but it's a very different session now here. It's a shorter now, so that means that it'll have a little less time now to prepare in regards to this qualifying session here. As Kulisec, who was P4 last in qualifying one, he's the one that goes out now. The Czech Republican driver is he's done really well so far in qualifying one, and we'll see if his fortunes will continue in qualifying two. That Renault, though, does look very strong, though, as we've seen in previous races so far.
Indeed, I really am surprised how that Renault has not got on a podium when we've seen an Alpha Tauri on there. But I think it's just been a bit of a stroke of bad luck for the French outfit. Obviously, Wojtek Kulisek, this will be his third venture to the Hockenheimring track. Obviously, when we came here in 2018, it would be Dennis Graf who would take pole position and go on to win that race from Jesper Johansson and Mohammed Patel on the podium. Next year, though, it would not swing to the Germans' favor, as Jesper Johansson would take his then fourth win of the season. He'd win from pole here as well, with Graf and Klaus this time rounding at the podium. So we have never seen someone win outside pole as Kulisek starts his lap, and he is going to get blocked there by the McLaren heading into turn 2. The McLaren does let him go, though, through turn 2, but that is going to cost him a bit of time.
Yeah, I wonder if that was a strategic call by McIntyre's team, I wonder, but that's going to be a pretty big blow for Kulisec's time at the moment, because that straight, though, you can see, I think he just had to lift off before heading into the second corner as well, and I don't think it'll be a very fast time for him, so I think he'll definitely need to go out again.
Indeed, as he now heads into turn number 8. This is Mercedes, and then through turn 9, 10 chicanes. We saw many wonderful battles through this bit of the track in the Formula 2 race yesterday. If you did miss that race, make sure to go watch that after this one, because that one was an absolute thriller. Now then, through the Zach's corner, turn number 12, and then through to 13 and 14, and into the final corners. I have to see these F1 cars do look so planted around this track compared to F2 and Porsche Super Cup. But Kulisek's going to go across the line, so 1:17.935 for the Czech driver. I think there is a bit to be left desired for him, though.
Yeah, and a pretty Kazanich guy as well, 1:18. That is qualify 1 standards. That's really shocking.
That is quite the shocker from Laban. We'll see, though, where that will put him. Alexander Arnold has done a 1:18 flat. So he's gotten himself ahead of the Ferrari, and his Parachki with a 1:17.402. Bit more of a competitive time than the other midfielders at the moment, as Kai Chereznia goes across the line. Not badly done from him, as he's just about under 2/10 off Ennis. Alfred Klaus goes faster than the Ferrari, so he sets a 1:17.318. Franco Gamba cannot get himself ahead of his teammate Wojtek Kulisek. He will be behind Laban Sosnishkai at the moment.
Yeah, Mandic is nearly a full second slower than his teammate, as he's a 1:18.3. Everyone's taken a bit slow so far in these first runs, I reckon, but Emily Kosinski as well, 1:17.961. That's a very strong showing, as Jesper Johansson takes the lead so far, heading to qualifying 2 at the moment. And Daniel Valle, also a slightly strong lap from him currently in his first run, as he's in 9th, but it's quickly displaced by Lewis McIntyre, who is the sole McLaren. He's into 9th and will get himself into qualifying 3 as it stands at the moment.
Yeah, nice stuff from Lewis McIntyre at the moment, as we're waiting for Dennis Graf, who has just crossed the line to 1:19.4. What has happened to Dennis Graf, as Emil Nilsson will be the final man across the line. He goes up with the 7th. That is the first provisional Q2 times on the board then. Daniel Wallace in the elimination zone, followed by Thomas Mandic, Franco Gamba, Jafari Blackwood, and Dennis Graf. Now, Graf probably has made a mistake somewhere on his lap, considering how far off he is everyone else. He's a second off Jafari Blackwood at the moment, so there's no doubt in my mind that Dennis will quickly get himself into the top 10. But Thomas Mandic, a bit concerning for the Croatian.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of these laps I'm actually really surprised by, considering all these drivers managed to get into the 117s comfortably. But I reckon it's all just first runs. They'll definitely go quicker in their second or third runs, depending how long they're going to be out there. As Jafari Blackwood heads into the Sachs curve, Daniel Valle, he's in a prime candidate to get to get both Alfa Romeos into Q3 actually. As Sesnitsky, the Ferrari driver, is going into the pits, so I'm sure he'll be out for one final run. Jafari Blackwood, though, well, there's only so much he could do with the Haas, but I think he's doing his best to do it. But
Yeah.
there's no improvement for him, and Dennis Graff, he's improved and he's gone on to fifth.
Yeah, nice stuff from Graf then, as Enes Perez goes out of Alfred Klaus. But yeah, I do believe, if my memory serves me correct, this will be the first time the two Alfa Romeos going to Q3 since the 2019 Pacific Grand Prix at the Fuji Speedway. But yeah, great to see that the Alfa Romeo drivers are really competitive around there, especially Emilia Condicional, as Franco Gamba's now gone across the line. He gets both Renaults currently into Q3 as he goes up into P5, and he does knock Daniel Wale into the elimination zone.
Yeah, it's always a breath of fresh air whenever we see a team that like normally doesn't really do really well on a certain track. And for here in Hockenheim, apparently this track is Alfa Romeo's bread and butter. As Daniel Valle will surely cross he doesn't actually improve, but he's still kind of close. He's 1/10 off from getting himself into Q3, so don't rule him out just yet. I reckon that he might be able to improve a few more. In the closing stages soon. Jafari Blackwood has got the Red Bull and the Racing Point behind him as well. I think they're going to head into the pits. Yeah, both of them do head into the pits. No, sorry, just the Racing Point. No, he's still on 15th, unfortunately.
Yeah, a bit of a shame for Jafari, but as you did say, there is only so much he can do with the Haas, as Emil Nilsson, currently leading his teammate Alexander Arnold, both Alpha Tauris, just on the edge of elimination there, as it is really, really close there currently.
Yeah, it certainly is. And with the closing stages as well, I think nearly everyone will probably aim to be out on track very soon. Franco Gamba, he's still in fifth. Actually, Renault is still showing a very strong showing, actually, still at the moment, being fifth and seventh, respectively. Thomas Magic improves, but it's not quite just enough, as he's in 11th, and it's about 300th slower than into the Q3 of Alexander Arnold, who's currently in the pits.
That is a massive shocker for Tomas Mandic. I don't know what's been going on with his quality performances recently, but I feel like Chereznia has just been... He's had the edge over his teammate in qualifying recently. But yeah, Mandic...
It could probably be traced back to Monza, where we've seen this change in pace from Chereznia, and it looks like he's not going to be slowing down as well. And this could be another strong performance from him if he gets another good result. Jafari Blackwood gets into Q.
That is a lovely lap from Jafari Blackwood. The question is if it will last, but still, great effort from Jafari Blackwood, as he is 2/1000ths of Emil Nilsson, and he's knocked Alex Arnold out of Q2 in his home race. Arnold will not be happy about that, but Jafari will be very pleased in the Haas, and he's just going to have to hope that no one else behind him does improve.
That is a shocker. I'm absolutely amazed that Jamaican has managed to push the Haas machinery all the way up into 10th, and he actually has a very good chance of it staying there. Thomas Mandic is going to go into the pits, and he's not going to improve, so he's eliminated as well.
That is a crazy development, but Mandic once again out of Q2. Jafari Blackwood could be on for it, but Lewis McIntyre is going to smash the Jamaicans' hopes as he goes up into 7th and gets McLaren into Q3. Lavas Osnishkai, who has had an absolute howler down in 15th, just isn't able to get out of there. Ferrari seem utterly hopeless here at Hockenheim.
15th and 17th respectively. That's how the times will stand for them heading into Hockenheim. And we've seen before how overtakes are not very it's very hard to overtake around this track. It's definitely going to be very hard for Ferrari to score probably any points in this race so far, because It's going to be very much of a hassle for the Serbian and the Italian, especially Ferrari. Qualifying session is over, so all these laps will be their last. Lazitsky runs off to the final corner with the DRS open. Can he improve and get himself into Q3? He does! He does, and it gives
Ooh.
Ferrari hope into 8th.
Great lap from Labas Asnishkai. All looked lost for the Scuderia, but he's done it. He's got himself into Q3 for the time being. Really nice stuff from the Serbian. But McIntyre's going to be next to cross the line then, who currently is in 7th, as he's going to cross the line. Could be a good lap for him, and he does improve, but he will stay in 7th for the time being. What about Emilia Konishina, who's down to 10th? She can't improve, but it is looking pretty good for her at the moment. She's just going to have to hope that her former F2 title rival Emil Nilsson in the AlphaTauri does not improve, as everyone else is in the pit lane at the moment in the elimination zone.
Oh, here comes Emil. Oh no, he's into the pits. So both Scuderia AlphaTauri drivers are eliminated in Q2.
That is quite a shock either way. They're going to be quite close to the point, so they could definitely battle for those positions. Jesper Johansson is going to go across the line. He gets himself into the 116s. Nice stuff from the Super Swede. As Labas Asnishkai, I think, will be the final car across the line. Could be him or Dennis Graf behind, I do think.
Oh, both of them are going to be crossing the line. So we'll see if they're going to make any more final improvements. They're both comfortably in to Q3, and that's that. That's qualifying 2 over.
Yeah, Johansson will be fastest. Your bottom 5 is Emil Nilsson, followed by Jafari Blackwood, Alexander Arnold, Thomas Mandic, and Daniel Wale will take 15 spots. So, we have a lot to talk about. I have to say, hats off to Jafari Blackwood for being in 12th there. He's done really well.
Yeah, I mean, he really had a good chance getting to qualifying 3 with that performance, but still, that was such a strong showing from him, anyways. And he should be very proud with a 12th, anyways. But I'm really surprised by 2 AlphaTauri drivers who are capable of getting to qualifying 3 and are strong qualifiers, both being eliminated prematurely. And it's very surprising because given that the state of AlphaTauri in the early seasons, now it's come as a shock to us in the second half of the season where they don't get into Q3.
Yeah, it's not the best performance for AlphaTauri, but obviously there's still a race to go. Mandic out as well, which is a massive shame. But Laban Zasnishkai, I have to say, quite an underrated performance once again, especially considering where his teammate Luca Farina is at the moment. I think he's done really well to stick that car into Q3. But we are here now for the third and final stage of qualifying. The fight for pole will begin. But yeah, I'd like to talk about Ferrari a bit as well. It's kind of weird to see one Ferrari knocked out in Q1 when 2 years ago at this track, Dennis Graf was on pole position for Ferrari.
Yeah, it's really amazing to see like such a difference a couple of seasons make in regards to car development and aerodynamics and stuff like that. One time you could be a legitimate title contender, and the next you could be on the grasp battling for points. And in this case, for Luca Farina, which is his second or third Q1 elimination this season in a Ferrari, in itself is quite shocking. But Laban Sinitsky, he's got a bit of luck and has got himself into Q3. And well, he's the sole driver so far that can score Ferrari points this round. But yeah, it's really surprising to see how this Italian outfit has managed over the last few seasons. It's really shocking.
Yeah, indeed. It's I have to say, Zasnishkai has once again been proving his talent with Ferrari after coming off a very good season with Renault. I have to say, he's just been doing so well. And I really do wonder how things will go for him next season as well.
Well, so far he's in a good contention now to get his 8th consecutive point-scoring finish this season, which is a really impressive record, especially in a Ferrari. I can't believe I'm saying that. In a Ferrari as well, given the state of the car, it's really impressive to be. He's going to maybe get an 8th point scoring position.
I do actually think, if I am not mistaken here, Laban Zasnishkai does currently hold the longest consecutive point streak in this F1 season. So
Yes, you're
it is,
right.
yeah, it is really really impressive to see that in what is a midfield car. So yeah, he's done absolutely fantastically. As Alfred Klaus will now round the final corner. Let's see his first lap, as it is going to be a 1:16.789 for the Swede, who's fourth in his championship at the moment.
Yeah, very fast there from Cos, and as we expect from Red Bull, they're unlatching the hatches now, and they're going to go very fast here into qualifying three now. They usually match their performance and their speed up until the last qualifying session, which they unleash. And it's now started here with Alpha Class setting the provisional pole, but Johansson outdoes him, and he gets himself into provisional pole in his first run with a 1:16.3.
Yeah, great lap from Jesper Johansson. He should be very, very proud of that. One is Franco Gamba. Yeah, look at that. Only 100th, just about 100th of Alfred Klaus at the moment. Laban Zasnishkai has got himself ahead of Enis Paratsky at the moment. Paratsky only musters up a 1:16.953, the man who won last time out at Paul Ricard, obviously. Don't think he'll be too happy about that, as Wojtek Kulasek has gone up into 5th.
Well, both Renaults and Sesnitsky are faster than Enis Paratsky. That is pretty surprising.
Yeah, Laban once again delivering a very, very good performance, but we're awaiting the laps of Konishina and I was also going to say Dennis Graf, who are yet to set their laps, but Graf is going to be quite important. It's only P6 for Dennis Graf.
Whoa.
And that is not going to be good. But now we have the 10 times on the board. Johansson is on provisional pole by over 4/10 of a second.
You know, this could be the saving grace that Jesper Johansson needs after heading out in third place in France. And as it looks, he's got a very, very good chance to leave Hockenheim as the championship leader as Enis Paratsky improves and gets himself into fourth, but still behind Franco Gamba.
Yeah, Gamba is in third. Great stuff from him. And Laban Zasnishkai as well has done a really, really good job.
And we've seen this with Franco Gamba as well. We've seen that especially last race as well. We've seen that he can actually keep himself up with the front pack and just keep himself there, always like in the verge of challenging if it needs be for the Italian. So just get himself up into third is really good and a very strong prime candidate for Renault's first podium this season.
Yeah, I definitely think Franco has what it takes as Konishina goes across the line. It's a 1:17.210. That will keep the Polish driver currently in last as Johansson extends his advantage over the field, and Jesper looking very, very good to take pole position at the moment. But we could always have a last-minute improvement, obviously. Hockenheim, as it always has been a track of surprises when it comes to action.
Yeah, I think Paratsky is going to be heading to the pits now. Most of them are going to head to the pits, but I think I'm not sure if they have enough time for their final runs. Meanwhile, Alpha Klaus, his second sector time is not it's not faster than his Johansson's at the minute. Johansson looks pretty untouchable, I must admit, heading into this final qualifying session here. But that's the case usually for the Swede, as Alpha Klaus, the Swede, heads into the pits now. But Jesper Johansson either looks out of place or he seems to bring in strong qualifying performances. It's nothing in between. And this case now it's a pole and by a comfortable long shot as there's 60 seconds left to go of this qualifying session here. Lewis McIntyre is still stuck in 9th and Koznitsky in 10th and Kai Treshny in 8th. So interesting there for the bottom 3 at the moment as it stands.
Yeah, it is interesting to see then, as we have 45 seconds on the clock. And I should tell you this, Jamie, Dennis Graf is in the pit lane. He will be starting P7 at best, and Klaus and Gamba are in as well. Ennis
He doesn't
Paratsky.
improve.
Yeah,
What?
he's gonna be the only thing to be able to challenge Jesper Johansson at the moment for pole. And it's gone absolutely wrong for Dennis Groff here at his home race.
What? Oh my! I'm sorry. I'm lost for words from the results that I'm just seeing here because, whoa.
This
Qualifying 3 will be over in a minute. Sorry to interrupt you up there. But
Yeah.
Teresny is still stuck in 8th. I'm not sure if he'll go for another run, though. Lewis McIntyre, he's going to head into the pits. He'll start the race in 9th. Jesper Johansson is on pole. He's on pole.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could say that he's gonna come in. No need
Nobody
for
can challenge him,
improvement.
can he? Apart from Ennis Paratsky. But
Yeah, I wouldn't call it prematurely. We could still have something on our hands, though Paratsky is 4 tenths off in the middle sector, so I don't think it is gonna happen. But
he's going to
once
head to the
again,
pits, isn't he? Yeah, he probably
once
is.
again, a stellar performance from Jesper Johansson in qualifying, but this is gonna be absolutely major in the championship, considering Graf and Johansson are separated on 9 points in the championship.
Yeah, Kai Teresny is the only car left on track that has to complete, I believe. Yeah, he is. As he heads off into the Sachs curve now. The racing point is, I'll be honest, it's not looking pretty strong at the minute for the for this race ahead, which is pretty interesting considering Racing Point's recent successes, usually being the top 5 or contention for the top 5 now, being outside of the top 5 in a while looks pretty weird to us commentators, as I think that's the last on track because the rest are heading into the pits, I believe. So I think that concludes qualifying 3.
Yeah, we've still got a few cars out on track though. I do think it is over.
It is.
There it is. Q3 done and dusted, and on pole position for the 4th time this season. Jesper Johansson takes pole position for the German Grand Prix.
This was an interesting qualifying session. I mean, that's not to say the least, but no, it was absolutely amazing. I mean, Jesper Johansson has done everything that he needs to do, and now he heads into this race now really, really strong now. I mean, I don't think anyone can touch him, even if Alfa Kaas overtakes him. Jesper Johansson still has a very good chance of leaving Hockenheim as the championship leader. But special mentions to Franco Gamba for the Renault in P3.
That is great stuff from Franco Gamba. Obviously, I think it was last year where Gamba, I think DNF'd here, but no, he didn't DNF here. He finished P10. I think I'm probably thinking of someone else who qualified very well here, but yeah, great stuff from Gamba in qualifying. Then he will be starting 3rd for Renault. Alfred Klaus 2nd, so he could be basically the only thing trying to stop Johansson's championship chances here.
Yeah, but the only thing, there's that, and then there's also Dance's graph position down in 7th as well. It's not going to be very good for him as well, and with the cars around him as well, which are a bit slower, he's going to find himself in the midst of a midfield pack as well, and it's going to be, in a track like this, it's going to be very hard for him to catch up to the leaders as well in this race for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what is going to happen. Obviously, I'd say one honorable mention as well, Laban Sasnishkai, who has qualified P5 in the Ferrari. I'd say brilliant job from him. 10 positions up on his teammate.
It's higher than that, isn't it? Because Luca Farina's P17 and
yeah, that's 12.
12
Goodness.
positions, and he got that he's been on the verge of like elimination for both the sessions, and that he pulls off stellar qualifying times in the closing stages, and he'll be very, very I think he'll really be proud with 5th at the moment, and it could be the change of fortunes that Scuderia Ferrari will need, as they're currently lacking behind Racing Point and McLaren in the constructors at the moment, and being ahead of both a Racing Point and a McLaren driver, it's going to do them favors. For sure.
Yes, indeed, as we are now here on the starting grid before lights out for the German Grand Prix, and it will be Jesper Johansson taking pole position once again at Hockenheim, and accompanying him on the front row is his fellow countryman Alfred Klaus in second. Franco Gamba will be starting in P3 alongside Ernest Parachki in the Mercedes will be P4. Laban Zasnička is fifth, with Wojtek Kulasek taking sixth spot, and Dennis Graf will have a lot to do today in his home race as he starts in seventh with Kai Trishnia behind him in eighth. Lewis McIntyre will take ninth for McLaren as Emilia Condition a very good qualifying for her as she starts in 10th.
Emmy Nielsen will start in 11th and follow behind him. Very impressive there for Jafari Blackwood. He brings that Haas into 12th. Behind him, Alex Arnold makes it a 11-13 for the AlphaTauri. The German starts in 13th in his final race. Thomas Mandic, the Racing Point driver, very disappointed for the Croatian. He starts in 14th. Follow behind him, 15th of Daniel Valle, the Alfa Romeo driver, starts in 15th. Victor Albon, the second of the Haas drivers, the Dane, starts in 16th, and following behind him, very disappointing for Luca Fiorino, considering where his teammate is. The Ferrari driver will start in 17th. 18th, Fernando Tost, also disappointing for him as well. The McLaren driver starts in 18th, and then following behind them, it's the last row lockout of Soto and Giulia Tischetti, which starts 19th and 20th respectively, which concludes the grid for today's race.
Let's go down to the grid then. 36 laps await us here at Hockenheim. Jesper Johansson is on pole position as we're going to go to 6 lights. And we're underway here at Hockenheim. Looks to be a good start for Alfred Klaus. Good one for Franco Gamba as well. Same for Ernest Parachki. Very, very close heading into turn 1. Is Klaus going to try something on the inside line? He can't just yet, as Gamba is going to go wheel to wheel with the Swede in the Red Bull. As the two will be side by side heading through turn 2. Gamba's going to try it on the outside line.
He's into P2.
Heading into turn 3. Gamba is up into second. Great start from the Italian as Laban Zasnička is fighting Ernest Parachki for fourth. But Klaus will not give up so easily, heading into the hairpin. He's going to be on the inside line there. In the background is Blackwood fighting with Dennis Graf for 8th. Dennis Graf has not had the greatest of starts. There's a crash in the back. I think that's Thomas. Oh my goodness. And that is Jafari Blackwood, and he's into the wall and out of the German Grand Prix. What a shame for him, as we're gonna continue though, as Gamba and Klaus are still fighting for second.
They're heading to the notorious Sachs curve now. They're not giving an inch one another though, but the Italian is actually doing an amazing job now. He's going to head the inside line though, heading into turn 14 now. Oh no, that is Klaus in the grass now, and that will allow for Gamba. He gets some breather room and he heads into P2.
Bravo, Franco. Well, we're going to see what happened here on the start then. It looked to be Nilsson. Oh my goodness.
God.
And he was pitched over by the McLaren and almost
McIntyre.
tipped the... Yeah, that's a very, very bizarre accident. They almost tipped the car over. Had barely no control over it, but it's into the wall. Such a shame. I think that's going to leave the McLaren of... I believe that was McIntyre.
That was
with
McIntyre,
a bit of damage. Yeah. It's a shame for them. It's gonna split the grid apart a bit. But Luca Farina is down into last at the moment. But here comes Ernest Parachki down the inside of Laban Zasnička. Kai Chereznia tried it on the inside line of Wojtek Kulasek as well. Couldn't pull anything off though. That could bring Dennis Graf into that battle behind, as Chereznia is not done yet with the Czech drivers. They will go side by side. Parachki is gonna go to the inside line of Laban Zasnička as they now go wheel to wheel.
Serbian, and Zasnička keeps it hold of Enis Parachki though. At the minute they're still going to go side by side just a little bit now, as Parachki is still not going to hold up there as they can head through the corner now. It's going to break very hard. It depends on who breaks latest now. They're still being side by side now, but Enis Parachki with a superior machinery, he keeps ahead of Zasnička at the moment.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting as they carry their battle on. Kulasek on the inside line, but he's going to have the less favorable outside heading into Zaks late on the race. Kulasek swings around the outside, but he is going to run wide, and that's going to give Chereznia the momentum that he needs to get past the Renault driver. Great stuff from Kai Chereznia as he will be up into P6 and now behind Laban Zasnička. But as we enter lap 3, Jesper Johansson is at the fastest lap and now leads by about 1.5 seconds over Franco Gamba in second.
It's really going to go very well for Jesper Johansson now. Enes Parachka, though, he's now going to be under charge from Klaus. Klaus is not catching up to Franco Gamba, and also Dennis Graf is still down in 8th as well, which is really surprising. He's actually lost a position in the start of the race, and it's not looking very good for him.
Yeah, I have no idea what is going on, but Enes Parachki is going to challenge Alfred Klaus for the podium. Parachki, with great pace, doesn't want to finish outside the podium. He's had a bit of bad luck coming, obviously, when it comes to the race after his race win, as he's going to go around the outside of Alfred Klaus. Alfred jumps over the curb. Is that going to allow Enes to get it down into the chicane? Yes, it does. And he will be ahead as Alexander Arnold fights Victor Albom with a lone Haas now, and he goes up into 12th.
Yeah, very good, strong there from Alexander Arnold. So Haas driver, it's such a shame because Jafar Black was in the points. Actually, he had a very good start as well. But alas, Enes Parachki gets ahead of Alfred Klaus. He's into the podium now, and he's next person on his list will be Franco Gamba. And if it stands, Enes Parachki can actually make it to Mercedes 1-2, and he's got more than capable of the car to do the job for to make the move on the Italian.
Yeah, and Enes has had the fastest lap of the race. That is quite the surprise. The other Mercedes in 3rd is lapping faster, and he's already on the back of Franco Gamba. He is looking strong right now.
Yep, well, being started in 4th, we've seen it before with Enes Parachki. He's really rapid on the pace now, and he's going to try to make the move into Parabolica now, and it's going to be into a late dive heading into the hairpin now. I think he's got more than enough of a gap to make it work. He slightly pulls Franco Gamba just a little bit wide, and they're still going to be side by side heading into turn 7.
Yeah, as it's going to be Gamba on the outside line. This should be the superior line for Enes Parachki. Just how we got it done on Alfred Klaus only a few laps earlier. Into the chicane they go, and Parachki is up into 2nd. No, not quite. I think Gamba was still hanging on there as Emilia Konishina gets past Lewis McIntyre. But round the outside goes Enes Parachki, and he gets it done on Franco Gamba. Lovely stuff from Enes Parachki, really demonstrating the talent that he has, as Emilia Konishina has gotten herself ahead of the McLaren of McIntyre, and up into 9th goes the Polish driver. But it is now a Mercedes 1-2, and I am sure that Parachki, he is already catching up to Johansson. Look, fastest lap from the Macedonian.
Yeah. Yep, that's amazing there for Parachki as well. So it's going to be a matter of time we'll see that Mercedes battle going ahead. And with the position that the way they are, I'm pretty sure Mercedes will not mind if the two drivers would fight, considering it's going to be a win-win situation for Johansson as long as Gamba or Klaus does not catch up, though. McIntyre tries to have a look down of Konichiya, but to no avail. I think he is suffering a bit from that collision from Jafar Blackwood, which is why he's falling down just a little bit from the Alfa Romeo driver. But no, he's going to go around the outside in Parabolica now, which turns into the hairpin now. Mandic also still looks to be in the fight for P10 though.
Yeah, as they go wheel to wheel, Konishina on the outside line. There in the background is Albom and Nilsson fighting away. As we head into turn 7, Konishina's on the outside line. McIntyre still hangs on to the position as they go wheel to wheel. Emilia over the curb a bit. That's going to give Lewis the advantage that he needs. And through the chicane, he gets it done on Emilia Konishina. But Konishina is still going to be there. Now on the inside line, will she be able to make it stick? No. It's going to be McIntyre who does get passes. We're looking at the battle for P13. Victor
Albom on the grass. Yeah, now he's going to be on the grass again now once again, and that's going to be pretty troublesome from him, as Fernando Tost is now going to be over the back of him. He gets himself onto the grass just a little bit now, and that'll allow for Daniel Valle to maybe look down the inside of turn 15, but he himself gets on the grass, and now he's going to be under trouble from the two Williams.
Everyone's really getting their elbows out. Here comes Josef Frederik down the inside line of Daniel Wall as they go side by side. Wall gets the better exit on the outside line, and I don't think Josef's going to be able to do anything here. As heading into turn number 2, Giulia Cesetti behind could get involved into this, as Shuto doesn't get the best of exits to turn 3. Here comes Alfred Klaus though, on to Franco Gamba, and Parachki is already on the back of Jesper Johansson, as Gamba is going to swing around the outside. He could fall outside the podium here, which could be the Renault driver's podium dreams over, but round the outside, it's going to be Gamba with the best of Klaus. Yeah, he keeps hold of it as well. Both Renaults are just defending their lives ahead of the Red Bulls behind them, as Kusec is also defended from Dennis Graf as well. And Szerezny and Sejnitsky are having their little battle as well. They're heading to the 3rd sector now, heading down into
turn 11 now. It's going to be down into the Sachs curve as well, which I think Cherezny will just hold off from Szczesniewski as well. That'll be a great battle between those two as well. Down into turn 11 now. Assetto goes ahead just a bit ahead of Daniel Valle as well, but Daniel Valle will get the outside line heading into the Sachs curve though, and it's going to be a bit of touch of the grass, and that will allow for Assetto to go ahead and take 16th from the Alfa Romeo driver.
He's still going to hang on to it, though. He's there on the inside line, but it is going to be Schutter who does get it. And while it didn't have the best of exits, here comes Alfred Klaus, though, on Franco Gamba once again. Gamba's going to swing around the outside and defends easily. Alfred Klaus, really great stuff from the man in the Renault at the moment.
I'm amazed by Franco Gamba's defending. I mean, that is absolutely amazing, especially track in Hockenheim as well. But it can only last for so long now, because Klaus is now going to go around the outside of Parabolica now, down into the hairpin now. Franco Gamba will just take the outside line, but I don't think he'll have enough of the acceleration to keep hold of that third place from Klaus now, as they're going to head down into turn 7 now, and then it's going to be down to the Mercedes sector now, heading over there, and Klaus will go around the outside now. And he takes it. He takes third place from Franco Gamba. He's still trying to make a move around the inside as well. They head to the third sector now. He takes the inside line. Doesn't quite work out though, and that will allow for Klaus to comfortably take third from Franco Gamba.
Yeah, nice stuff from Alfred Klaus. Only so much Franco Gamba can do, and unfortunately that's going to be him outside of the podium for the time being. But we're looking at the battle for the race lead then between the two Mercedes teammates. Team that has always let their drivers race no matter what. Parachki is trying to get his teammate Johansson for the race lead, as Dennis Graf is still behind Wojtek Kulasek. What is going on with him today?
That's really weird. It's really weird considering he lost a position as well. You'd think, given that the situation it is at the moment, that he'll be climbing up. But no, he seems to be very in trouble. He can't seem to really catch up to Kulisec now. But here comes Paruchki down the inside of the hairpin now. He's going to push Jesper Johansson a bit wide, but Johansson keeps his composure, and he still just beats ahead on Enes Paruchki at the moment.
Yeah, as Konishina is going to go round the outside of Thomas Mandic, as they will go wheel to wheel. But yeah, I have to say, Johansson and Parashki battling away in what is Mercedes' home race is quite the spectacle, as Konishina's there on the inside line. Mandic round the outside does defend from Konishina, and no move yet for the Polish woman.
This year just goes just a little bit wide though. That's not going to give her the best of exits though. But Enes Paruchki and Jesper Johansson, they're still going to be in a battle's width still. But I think Johansson is just pulling away just a little bit now. But Paruchki still has the DRS now as they head down into turn 1 now. You can hear the 1,400,000 spectators going absolutely wild for this Mercedes battle. That's going to be right ahead of them though, right in front of their home track as well. But meanwhile, Dennis Graf is going to try and look for the inside of Kulisec though. It doesn't quite work out though, as Kulisec still maintains 7th at the moment.
Yeah, he backed out of it, and that lost him a bit of time, as Parachki is now going to be on the inside line of Jesper Johansson, heading into the hairpin, late on the brakes for Enes Parachki. Jesper Johansson round the outside on the curb there. Does he get the better exit? I think he does, and Johansson defends for another lap from his teammate.
Another interesting thing to note is that Franco Gamba is actually still behind Alpha Kraus. He's not actually losing to Klaus, and Klaus is not actually. He is gained from the battle, and we could just see a little bit of a touch there between Victor Albom and Fernando Tost. Fernando Tost is not actually climbing as fast as I assumed that the McLaren driver would. They head down into the the Mercedes sector now, and that will allow for Fernando Tost to get himself up into P14. And the man who started way down in, I think it was P18 at the moment, he's doing a very good steady climb up as he's gained 4 positions in 9 laps.
Yeah, nice stuff from Tost. Though no points for him yet, as we're now on lap 10. Wojtek Kulasek chasing down Laban Zasnishka. Zasnishka, who himself tried to get Kaicher Reznia, has fallen back a bit and is now outside of DRS range. So we got Kulasek and Graf stuck behind the Serbian in the Ferrari at the moment.
Yeah, we'll see if Dennis Graf, the German national hero, will try and make any more gains. Still no overtake on Kulisek, surprisingly, the Renault driver seems to be pretty comfortable having that Red Bull behind his mirrors. Very composed as well. And maybe actually try and make a move on the Serbian, but oh no, he is. He's going to try to look down into the hairpin. Is it going to actually work this time? He's going to take the inside line. I don't think I've seen them two fight so far this race, and he's going to push Sashinsky just a bit wide now. But they're going to head down into turn 8, I believe. Sorry, turn 7. Turn 7, he keeps it flat, and no, he's not quite close enough to make the move just yet. But he's challenging Sajewski, though, and keeping Graf behind him, which is a very good fight, good race there.
Yeah, the two former teammates going at it. Here's Arnold and Konishina going at it for P11. Alexander Arnold's going to hold it on the inside line. He's going to try to get ahead of the Alfa Romeo as we head into the Sachs curve. Arnold's going to go around the outside of Konishina, just about ahead, but he dips a wheel into the grass, and that is going to allow Konishina to get ahead for 11th for the time being. Great battle between the two, but we're going to be treated to another Mercedes, potential Mercedes driver swap again.
Yeah, well, driver swap. It's more like a battle now. But meanwhile, Dennis Graf now is going to try and do a move now on Kulisek now. But Kulisek still just keeps hold of that Red Bull behind him now. But meanwhile, in the front now, Enes Parachi is going to go for the inside line of the hairpin once again. It's going to push Bro Johansson a bit wide. How wide will Johansson go? Not wide enough, I don't think, because Jesper Johansson just keeps a hold of the lead still.
Have to say, gloves off for Enes Parachi as he's there on the inside line. Yes, we're going to be able to cover him off. Parachi is late on the brakes as the two go wheel to wheel into the chicane. He's going to have the inside line. Johansson defends the outside line as the two Silver Arrows fight in their home race. Parachi on the inside line, Johansson on the outside. And this is going to give Jesper the inside through Sachs. Parachi on the outside line. He's going to run wide, and that will give Johansson the position. But he's still there into the final corner. Goes over the grass a bit, though. He cannot do it, and Johansson will remain ahead. Great battle between the two Mercedes drivers.
Yeah, that was absolutely amazing from the two Black Arrows there. But I saw Arnold and Konieczny had their little battle of their own on that same lap as well. Meanwhile, Parizki is still over the back of Jesper Johansson now. He's going to try and have a look down for turn 2. No, he doesn't. He keeps his hold of it as they head down to turn 2 and then out of turn 3 now. And then they're going to head down to Parabolico, which will probably be another fight there. Dan's Graf, he's managed to overtake Kulisek, actually. He did overtake Kulisek, and now he's up into 7th. And now Sajewski is the next on his books now. It's very steady progress there for the German Red Bull driver. And it's a matter of time how soon he can make that move work. As now Enes Parachi pushes Johansson now a bit wide once again now. And they're going to have their own little battle once again.
As there's Kulisek down the inside line of Laban Zasnishkai. Dennis has done quite well to be able to claw his way through these positions. As Wojtek Kulisek now wants to try and get past the Ferrari as well. He cannot do it, as Laban shuts the door, and Dennis Graf will be up to 6th, and he's going to be free to chase down Kai Chereznia in the following laps, who is in 5th.
Is still behind Alfred Klaus. He's still the podium dream is still there for Renault. And meanwhile, in the back there, you can see Emmy Nilsson and Fernando Tost. They're going to have their battle now. Tost has been climbing very steadily now, and he's got the both AlphaTauri drivers in their books now. But he's going to got the outside of Sachs curve, which means he'll have his dip in the grass. And last, Emmy Nilsson just holds it to P13 for now.
Ooh, but there's Parachi round the outside into turn number 2. Is that going to work for him as he goes round the outside of Jesper Johansson? He does it, and Enes Parachi takes the lead of the German Grand Prix. Wonderful stuff from Enes Parachi. Very, very flashy overtake, but it's not going to be over yet as Jesper Johansson is going to throw one to the inside line of Enes Parachi. It's not over yet as they head into turn number 6. The two will be side by side. Parachi, though, round the outside. Now they head into the hairpin as Johansson is in the offensive position, but it is going to be Parachi who does get ahead of Jesper Johansson and into the race lead.
That was a really weird line to take as well. You can just see as well Parachi was twitching all over the place because given that it's not the racer line as well, and it's very close to the grass as well, and for Parachi to pull that off on the outside of turn 2 and then turn 3, it's a really amazing there for the Macedonian as he gets himself up into the lead at the moment though. And Kulisek though, he gets himself up into 7th after overtaking Sajewski as well. Victor Albom is still in the midst of the fight with the two Williams drivers, but Luca Farina is still in a distant 19th. He's 1.4 seconds away from the rest of the pack, which is really shocking for the Ferrari driver.
there could be damage to that Ferrari, as Johansson is lapping faster than Parwatski, though he does have the DRS, so that is to be expected. So yeah, we'll see if Jesper's going to be able to do anything. Behind, though, these two, only a second behind, is Alfred Klaus in third. By about a second, Franco Gamba has fallen out of DRS range of Klaus as well, so Alfred seems to have picked up the pace.
Yeah, it does seem like that way. Franco Gamba, I don't think he's not actually going to be very fast enough. He did have his chances though, but I think that there's only so much time you can be aggressive, and now he's going to be on the conservative now. Suzuki now is going to make the inside line of the hairpin now on Kulisec. Now Kulisec just holds it there just a bit now as they're going to head down to the flat out of turn 7 though. Kulisec will have the outside line though. He needs to have enough speed though in order to make it work. He doesn't. That will allow for Suzuki to go into the Mercedes corner, and that will allow for him to take 7th from Kulisec.
Yeah, not
quite.
Yeah, not quite, as it's going to be Kulisek round the outside into Mobile 1. I think he does get it done with that overtake. Yes, he does. And Kulisek will remain in 7th, not before Laban runs wide. He had to stomp on the brakes to avoid going into the back of the Renault, and that's lost him massive
he locked up, actually. He actually locked up, and that's going to allow for McIntyre now to join in the battle. This for P8 now, and it's going to bring Mandage with him as well. Mandage is actually still doing pretty good climbing there, but Jesper Johansson and Enes Parachki, they're still in the battle though, but they kind of they're a little bit desperate now, because Alfred Klaus, he is still just about out of the DRS range at the moment now, but the moment he joins the DRS range, it's going to be a three-way battle for the lead.
Yeah, I don't think the smartest choice for the two Mercedes right now is to battle, considering Klaus is gaining on them. You can see how much Klaus was almost under a second the moment Parachki and Johansson started battling, so I don't think it is the right call for the pair of them.
Yeah, and we can also see in the timing board as well, Kai Teresnia is actually closing up to Franco Gamba now. So Franco Gamba is going to be pulled into a battle for P4, and I think Gamba's not actually doing he's not actually closing up to the lead pack. So unfortunately for the Renault driver, I think that'll be as closest to the podium he'll get at the moment, unless if there seems to be a retirement. But don't rule anything out. As Marin says, anything can and will eventually happen. Anyways, back up to the front now on the Mercedes now. They're still 2 fighting now. It's just about under halfway of the race left to go now in their home track now. They're surely bringing up a spectacle here in ACOC.
Indeed. As the question will be how the championship will look. Right now, Jesper Johansson would lead by 1 point over Dennis Groff, but it might be a bit more as he's going to go to the inside line of Enes Parachki. He does take the lead of the race. He's going to definitely be in the lead of the championship. Johansson wants this win, as he's going to be there on the inside line of Enes Parachki, and he's going to hold the outside line out of absolutely nowhere. This move has come from Jesper Johansson. Enes with a bit of a poor exit through the chicane. Johansson's on the inside line. Can Parachki hang it on the outside line? No, he's going to switch to the inside line. Will Jesper leave the space though? Yes, they're just about side by side. Parachki on the inside line can't do it, and Jesper Johansson retakes the lead of the German Grand Prix.
Every point matters. That was Jesper Johansson's statement to Enes Parachki. They made that overtake there. No matter if it's 1 point, a lead may be a lead, but every margin matters here in this championship here. It's intense between Johansson and Dennis Graff now, as we've seen in various stages, and this is the statement that Jesper Johansson has to make to his teammate as he takes the lead.
Yeah, just really, really great stuff for Jesper Johansson, and Enes Parachki is still on the back of Johansson, obviously, so I don't think the battles for the lead will stop anytime soon. You can see 4/10 is the gap, and it is gonna close down as we head down turn number 5. He's gonna go on the inside line into turn number 6. Enes Parachki is not done with his world champion teammate as the two go side by side. Johansson's gonna go around the outside to try and defend from Parachki, and he does it. Enes can't carry on the move.
And Franco Gamba are going to be in their battle there for P4 now. Very interesting there with Franco Gamba, who is up on P3, and a very good start for the Renault driver now, is going to be defending from Kai Teresnia, which I think will be his second, if he gets this, will be his second best result this season so far, after the podium that he scored in Tuscany. Sorry, in Monza.
Yeah, indeed, as there's Tost and Nilsson, who obviously scored a podium at Tuscany, gets a bit out of shape there as he heads over the curb, and that is going to lose him the position to Fernando Tost, who is now the 13th.
That was really poor there from Emmy Nielsen. He's just absolutely Fernando just left him for dust there as he's gotten himself up into 13th finally now. Kuznichia though and Alexander Arnold are still in that battle there, so Fernando Tost joins them with that battle. I think there's a good chance we might see Fernando Tost, who, keep in mind, he started down in 18th, could be in a chance for points, which is going to be very impressive for the Polish driver for sure.
Indeed, as we're now looking at Enes Parachki once again, who's close in on Jesper Johansson. To the inside goes Enes Parachki. Is he close enough to try and carry on the move heading out of turn number 6? Johansson gets the better exit round the outside as he's just about wheel to wheel. There's Chereznia wheel to wheel with Franco Gamba as Parachki, cannot do it. What about Kai Chereznia? I don't think he's close enough either. And Franco will defend from the Polish driver in the racing point.
Yeah, and meanwhile in the back there you can see that was back tire and Sazvicki as well. There's heading to the battle now, heading down into turn 7 though in the Mercedes sector now. Meanwhile in the back here you can see this little battle here for P12, I think that was. And in the back there, I think that was that's Albon. I think Sassetti actually just overtook him. And I think Suto's not going to have a look now as they head down to the Mercedes curve. He'll have just a bit of the outside, which is the better exit now. And Albon, who was in 16th, is now down into 18th now. And Luca Farina has actually managed to catch up now, which he was 1.3 seconds, is now down to 4 tenths now. So that will be very good for Luca Farina if he can manage to just overtake just a car now, because he's kind of had a disappointing race, but it could be a change of fortune for the Ferrari driver at least.
Yeah, Farina will not be wanting to finish last in this race, obviously, as McIntyre is now chasing down Laban Zasnishka, Kai Chereznia on the back of Franco Gambas. Enes Parachki think he had a minor lockup there, but he isn't able to get past. Chereznia, though, is going to go to the inside line. Gamba's going to try to defend by swinging around the outside through turn number 6. Gamba will get the better exit, and that'll allow him to stay ahead of Chereznia for a bit. Heading into the left-hander, it is going to be Gamba just about ahead. Chereznia, though, keeps it level with the Italian and his former teammates as they go side by side. Chereznia is going to be there on the inside line. Will he be able to get it done? I do think he is going to be able to, as they go side by side. Now heading into the Zax curve, it's going to be Chereznia who's going to go round the outside almost onto the grass as he heads the long way round. And I think he's gotten it done. He did. He's gotten it done on the outside line. Kai Chereznia is up into 4th.
Yeah, that was really good there from that overtake there from Franco Gamba. I think that's the first time we've seen someone making an overtake on the Sachs curve and making it work, though. It just depends on the speed and the opponent there. And Kai Chereznia, he's done it, and he's got himself up into a well-deserved 4th there. But Franco Gamba is still not giving up, though, and he's still catching up to that Racing Point driver.
An off-track overtake on the grass, though. That's quite impressive.
Alfred Klaus has actually catch up to the battle, I must say.
Yeah. Klaus could now be in the equation to try and disturb the Mercedes 1-2. Obviously, Klaus's objective will most likely be to try and finish ahead of Jesper Johansson to help his teammate in the championship, as Gamba is trying to retaliate at Chereznia, but he isn't able to do anything there, and Kai will stay ahead of Franco for the time being.
Yeah, currently it stands at the moment, though, as Fernando Tost, who's still 12th now, he's defending his position now from Emmy Nielsen now. It's not quite the exact what the Polish had in mind, as he still wants to try and overtake Alexander Arnold now, but they're going to head into the Mercedes curve now, and that will allow for Emmy Nielsen to take the outside line, which is the fastest one. Comes down to the inside line now. Emmy Nielsen will just hold on and overtake Fernando Tost for 12th, I think, unless if he keeps the speed heading into the Sachs curve section now, which he does now. He'll take the inside line now, and Emmy Nielsen will have the outside line one. It depends if it works or not. He's going to dig his wheel in a bit of the grass, but Fernando Tost just keeps himself ahead, and he just holds on into 12th as it stands at the moment.
Yeah, it didn't work for Nilsson, unfortunately, but Alfred Klaus has joined the party now, and he's going to try to disrupt the Mercedes 1-2. Isn't close enough to Enes Parachki just yet, and obviously won't get any major speed advantage over the Mercedes driver, because they both are in the DRS. As we're looking at Thomas Mandic, who's now going to be chasing down Laban Zasnishkai for 8th. Laban is dropping down a bit.
Well, yeah, but it was well expected that we've seen in the Ferrari machinery, though, as Mandic just tries and looks down the inside line of the hairpin, though, to no avail. But I don't think it was a legitimate attempt at that hairpin, though, for sure. But yeah, Sashishki is actually quite dropping down a lot. The one man that started in fifth is down in eighth, and he's still dropping, especially with all these cars that are more than capable of getting to the points, though. As now Nielsen and Tost now, they're going to go side by side heading to the Mercedes sector now. Emmy Nielsen will just go ahead of Fernando Tost, and I think he'll take 12th at the time being, though. But Fernando Tost is not just giving up now as they head down into turn 12 now. Down into the south curve they go. And I think that will allow for Fernando Tost to just hold it into now. Because I think, yes, I mean, Yusuf just heads into the graph just a little bit once again. And Fernando Tost just holds into 12th at the minute. But meanwhile, Alpha Class of Perechki now, they're going to be in the midst of their battle now.
Yeah, now this is going to get very, very interesting. Parashki is out of DRS range of Jesper Johansson. This is going to be dangerous for the Mercedes team as Klaus is going to go to the inside line into turn 6 as he charges on the inside line then as they go side by side heading out of turn number 6.
Yeah, I think I saw Parechki just change his line just a little bit there before that his attempt on the hairpin now. But there comes Alfred Klaus now around the outside line. Comes down to the inside line now. Alfred Klaus just about holds into second place now for Parechki, but he tries to take down the inside line now as they head down into Mobile Run now. And now it's not going to be quite side by side. It's not going to be enough because Alfred Klaus has taken second.
Yeah, and that is going to be a Mercedes 1-2 gone for them at the moment. Klaus will be up into second and he'll be chasing down Jesper Johansson. The big catch about that, though, is that he is going to be without the DRS for the majority of these following laps.
Yeah, absolutely, though. But there's sure to be a good reason for if maybe Klaus can maybe catch up to Jesper Johansson, though. We can see that both Swedes battle out for the lead in the closing stages of the race now. And it's very soon, actually, that we'll have that. It's going to be soon to the beginning of the race. So it's got 40 laps to go approximately at the moment. And it's still all positions here to play for, though. And that's Parachki, though, still not giving up. It's still behind Alfred Klaus.
Yeah, as he's going to go to the inside line of Alfred Klaus. He's going to try to keep the Red Bull driver at bay for to be able to charge into the race lead as he's going to be there side by side. There's Dennis Groff then down the inside line of Franco Gamba. Gamba's going to try and defend from the world champion as we head into turn number 7. It's going to be Gamba around the outside. Can Dennis hang on? No, he cannot. And Groff will stay in P6 for the time being. Either way, Dennis Groff is cutting his way through the field.
Yeah, great defending there from Dennis Groff, though. Great defending there from Franco Gamba, though, despite the car that he's currently in, though. But yeah, it's interesting to see Franco Gamba, who started at 8th, he's now improved himself. 7th. He's up his way up, challenging for 5th, and it's going to be very well valued 5th because that means Jesper Johansson will now need to finish first in order to take the championship lead now. And with Alfred Klaus's pace improving, Klaus has got his teammates work for him now as he's going to try and challenge for the lead for sure. But first he needs to defend from Enes Parachki first.
Oh, Dennis Groff tried it there on the inside line into turn 1, but that's compromised him.
Yeah, on exit. The grass as well, which won't allow him to get the good exit heading to turn 3 and turn 4, but he'll have the superior speed of the Red Bull car and the aerodynamics which is needed for this straight here. Oh, meanwhile, the front there, Enes Parachki and Alfred Klaus, they're going to be side by side now as they enter into the third sector now. Down into turn 7, they will go. And it'll be heading to the Mercedes corner. Oh, Enes Parachki just goes a little bit messy, though, but Alfred Klaus just holds on once again.
Yeah, as Groff is going to be there on the inside line of Franco Gamba. Can't do it, though, as we're looking at the other Renault now, who instead of defending is attacking. And he's attacking Lamas Nishka then into Mercedes. He's going to go round the outside of the Ferrari. Can he pull it off into the chicane? He should be able to, as Kulasek is just about ahead. And I think he has got it done.
Yeah, and we can also see in the background as well, that was Kanishka making a move on, and Joseph Frederick Suto as well. They're still there battle there for P15 though at the minute. But yeah, very good there from Kulisich to get himself up into 7th. Kanishka still dropping a bit there, and Mandic as well on McIntyre. They'll surely be making the moves on the Ferrari driver anytime soon though. But meanwhile, Franco Gamba is defending his life ahead of, behind Dennis Graff at the moment now, but I don't think it'll be enough now because he's got the inside line now, heading to turn 2 now. The Renault driver goes a bit wide though. He keeps hold of that lead for now as they head out, and with the DRS range now, I think Franco Gamba will surely make the move into the hairpin now. Just like this here with Enes Barachki and Alfred Klaus though. Not quite close enough though. Alfred Klaus just holds it to lead, and yes, Dennis Graff uses some superior speed and superior aerodynamics to get the Red Bull up into 5th now. So that means that the task for Jesper Johansson now has to lead the race.
Oh, and that's Asnishka and Kulasek on 2 wheels. I think he's gonna be out. He's gonna continue somehow, but he's definitely gonna have damage to that car. I have no idea how he did not tip over.
Driver of the day, Kulasek, for keeping that car on 2 wheels and managing to not flip over. Well done.
10 style points to Wojtek Kulasek from the ACOC commentary team. But jokes aside, we're going to look at Enes Barachki then chasing down Alfred Klaus for P2 Klaus, who is 2.5 of Jesper Johansson.
But that's really good news though for Jesper Johansson though, because that means his lead is going to go unchallenged in the last 11 laps of this race now, and that's exactly what the Swede needs, considering where Graf is currently at the moment, where he still needs to lead in order to take the championship lead. And Enes Barachki though is doing his teammate favors though by keep defending from by still trying to defend that second position from Alpha Klaus to make his challenge to Jesper Johansson really hard for him actually. And they're still going to be fighting side by side now, heading to the Mercedes sector though, but Alpha Klaus just pushes Barachki, not quite giving him enough car lengths there to make the move though.
And yeah, close battle between Zasnishka and Mandic might be a penalty for Laban due to that incident, as they're gonna go side by side. Mandic's gonna go around the outside of Zasnishka. They will go wheel to wheel through the chicane as well, but Mandic wraps up the move and he gets up into 7th.
Yep, the man that started in, I believe it was P14. He's got himself up to 7th. He's gained 7 positions, so that's 6 positions. Very good for him though. Enes Barachki and Alfred Klaus though. Ooh, Enes Barachki just tries to have a look down to the inside, heading to turn 1 though, but it's not going to give him the best of exits though. And Alfred Klaus just holds on once again. But heading into Parabolica now, that will where Barachki will have a superior speed and the DRS on top of that, which means that we can see a challenge from the Macedonian driver once again, heading into the hairpin now, unless if he's going to try and make a premature one. He does try and do a premature one. Is it going to be enough speed to do it before the hairpin happens? It's going to see. We'll see. He's got just about enough length, and it's going to be about enough length for the whole battle to carry on throughout the remainder of this lap.
Yeah, so they're going to go side by side. Graf is going to go around the outside, heading into Mercedes' fitting name as he gets it done through that corner. And Enes Barachki is back up into 2nd to make it a Mercedes 1-2.
Klaus, not Graf. Sorry there.
Yeah, thank you for the correction.
Fernando Tost there. He's just going to be side by side with Alexander Arnold though. Fernando Tost is absolutely having a dream recovery drive from the McLaren, and now he's going to have Alexander Arnold in his books next. The 2 AlphaTauri drivers are not actually making any improvements here in this race. They're still stuck outside the points at the minute. Meanwhile, Album and Luca Farina, and they're in the battle there. Luca Farina now is finally got himself out of last place, but Victor Album, the Dane, is still beside him on his mirrors now. He's going to try and have a look down the inside line, and it's still going to be side by side, but not quite enough because Luca Farina's got a better exit now, heading into the Sachs curves now, and that will allow for Luca Farina to take 18th, which may not seem like much, but he's finally out of last place for the Ferrari driver.
Yeah, that's good to see. I'd say overall it's going to be a weekend to forget for Luca Farina, as we're now looking at Lewis McIntyre chasing down Laban Zasnishkai for 8th. It's going to be a very interesting battle to see Zasnishkai, who's in the DRS of Tomas Mandic, and he is going to try to get revenge on the Racing Point driver.
Absolutely here. This German Grand Prix is surely one amazing spectacle here with battles all the way out through. It's surely a race unlike any other now, and the nature of it really does help here. As we've seen with Joseph Frederick Sito now making the move, and Emi Koznician now, the Polish woman is actually struggling a bit, actually, haven't been in the points. and she has dropped off quite considerably now, considering that she's now in the now under battle from both Williams actually, with Giulia Chiasetti and Soto will be joining them alongside as well. Also, Luca Farina as well. Also will join in as well. I think that's Alex Parachki just in a very quick lap there. And now he's going to catch up to Jesper Johansson now. This is not exactly what the Swedish F1 driver would have in mind. Both of them actually in that case now, because now Jesper Johansson's championship lead is now going to be under threat by his own teammate. So that's not going to be very good for the Mercedes team.
Yeah, this is going to be quite the shock, as there's Lewis McIntyre down the inside line of Laban Sasnitsky. The two will go not about wheel to wheel. McIntyre can't do it, and Laban will be ahead for the time being, but I don't. Yeah, exactly. It's not going to be for long.
Yeah, it's not going to do DRS, and he's actually going to use the speed now. Is it going to be quite? Is it going to be close enough for the hairpin though? It's going to be close enough, and I think it will happen. He's going to push Sasnitsky just a bit wide now, and they're going to head down to turn 7 though. Still a bit wheel to wheel now, which will allow for McIntyre to use the outside line now to continue this battle going on ahead. He's going to do it ahead, down into turn 8 now, and then out through turn 9. And then into turn 10 now on the second straight now. McIntyre will just keep ahead of Suzuki, who takes the inside line, tries to look down through Mobile 1, which doesn't allow for anything to happen just at the moment, though. That'll allow for McIntyre to keep it to 8th. And Album and Luca Farina, they're still in their battle for the wooden spoon at the moment as it stands, though. And they're still going to be side by side.
Whoa.
There we go.
And there to the inside line, yeah, it's going to be Enes Parachki versus Jesper Johansson. Parachki can't do it. He went from being overtaken for third to once again battling for first, and this is not good news at all. He's got a massive overspeed on Jesper Johansson. The two will go wheel to wheel. He's got the DRS, and he gets it done before the corner. Enes Parachki retakes the lead of the German Grand Prix.
Yeah, but that will mean that Jesper Johansson will have the DRS range now. Now, as it stands, Dennis Gruff will maintain the championship lead at the moment. I believe my calculations are correct. But Emmy Nielsen and Alexander Arnold, they're going to still be in their battle for P12. Those two have not given each other any breathing room from actually. They've been constant battle from each other throughout the entire race. And now that's going to allow for Emmy Nielsen to take the inside line into the hairpin now. And Alexander Arnold will have just a little bit of a bad exit though. But he's got the outside line down into turn 7 though, which is a bit faster. But Mercedes in turn 8, if Emmy Nielsen keeps the outside line though, he's going to have a better battle now, and he's going to be just ahead of Alexander Arnold now as it stands. And yes, the Estonian driver will keep ahead of it. Alexander Arnold will try to look down for the inside line, but it's not going to be quick enough though, as we've seen. Emmy Nielsen will hold on to 12 at the moment.
Oh my goodness, Enes Parachki, he leads by 1.1 seconds. It's absolutely just, things have gone really wrong for Jesper Johansson as his teammate Parachki has taken the lead.
Yeah, and that's Daniel Valle making a move on. Daniel Valle makes a move on Emmy Nielsen for that move. That was a really good overtake, though. But yeah, you're right about the lead, though, because Jesper, you're a whole second and just half a lap. That's disappointing there for the Swede. Yeah, here it comes. That was Alexander Arnold, though. Alexander Arnold just goes a bit on the grass, and they go side by side, heading down into turn 15, and then the Zudgrev. That will allow for Valle with a much better exit, though, to head into P13, as we've seen the aftermaths of some tire smoke there, but that's fine now. Alfred Klaus, though, he's challenging Jesper Johansson. That is a shocker.
That is a massive shocker
and
indeed.
And it's going to continue for good favours for Dennis Graf, though, because he is now all over the back of Kai Cherezhnia. And if Dennis Graf does this, that means that his championship lead will be sealed and dealed for sure, especially with Jesper Johansson's current performance at the minute now. It went from a certainty that Jesper Johansson will take the championship lead now, to now an almost certainty now that Dennis Graf will take the championship lead. What a very interesting turn of events here in the German Grand Prix.
It's been an absolute roller coaster, I have to say, this race, as Sasnitsky is chasing down Lewis McIntyre for 8th now, but McIntyre will be holding that position for the time being. Josef Frederick Schuto having a bit of a look on the inside line of Emilia Konishina for 15th. Those two have been battling a very, very long time as Klaus is chasing down Johansson. Johansson, what has happened?
I think because he was so aggressive midway through the race that sometimes he I'm trying to think here because he had enough speed to take the lead of the race, but I think Enes Parachki and that battle he had with Enes Parachki just put blows to his lead and, as such. And now Alpha Cross is now going to go down for the inside line in the hairpin though. Jesper Johansson is just holding on to second place really, really hard because that's really the only good thing that can keep his championship hopes alive if he wants to take the lead at the moment. But no, he doesn't. Alfred Klaus goes around the outside now, and that will allow him. And look at the speed. It's the speed that Alfred Klaus gets that will allow him to hold on to second, though. Meanwhile, in the back there, McIntyre is still under threat from Sajnitsky. Despite having, despite his troubled performances, though, he's still holding on to the top 10, which is pretty good there for the Ferrari, considering the other cars and drivers are outperforming him very, very, very hard, especially there. But McIntyre is still hoping to make the move, though sooner rather than later. Now tries to lock down for the inside now, heading into the Sachs curve now. He's going to lock down for the outside line though, but it's going to be a wheel in the grass though, and that will allow him for Kulisec now to maybe catch up now, head down into turn 15 now, and turn 16 is the Suez curve, and there's no lead changes there. Meanwhile, up a bit in the front now, Dan Scraff is still making the move at Kai Treznia.
Yeah, Groff is trying to get past Cherezniak. Johansson falling back on Alfred Klaus is being helped with the DRS, but I don't think he's going to be able to pull off an overtake. But Dennis Groff, though, he's definitely going to try it. He's going to go to the inside line of Kai Cherezniak, and he's going to go for it on the inside line. This overtake will be crucial for him, as it's going to help him get a lot of points and only be one position behind Jesper Johansson. So it'll cause minimal damage for him in the championship, as they're going to go side by side just about. Dennis Groff tries to hang it on the outside line, but Kai Chereznia does hold the defense to the world champion.
Yeah, that was a really, really great defense there from Kai Chereznia, though. You can see Dennis Groff there, who's on the grass. He was a little bit scrappy heading to that exit, though, which would give some Kai Chereznia just a bit breather for at least a lap or so. And meanwhile, Daniel Valle and Emmy Nielsen now, they're going to go wheel to wheel now as they head out of the Mercedes curve now. Down the exit of turn 10 now. Daniel Valle will have the inside line heading to turn 11, though. No, he doesn't actually. Emmy Nielsen would do it, but that will be enough as Daniel Valle, the Chinese driver, will keep ahead, and Alfa Romeo driver, he gets himself up into 12th.
Yeah, lovely stuff from the two former F2 rivals, as Wale does defend from Nilsson. Dennis Groff, though, another lap, another opportunity to get past for the German, as he is going to get the DRS heading down turn number 5. Franco Gamba still there as well in P6.
Yeah, I mean, despite Franco Gamba's early performances, though, to see him not actually completely drop off, though, is quite impressive, though. But it can only last he can only hold P4 for so long, as Dan's Graf is now going to try and go down the inside of the hairpin now, which will allow for them to go a bit wheel to wheel a bit. But meanwhile, Franco Gamba is still on the outside, just maybe having a look and take the scrappings, maybe. But alas, there's no changes just yet, though, because Kai Chereznia just keeps hold of it. Heading into turn 8, though, who meanwhile, Emmy Nielsen and Daniel Valle, they're not done yet, as the battle for P12 is still ongoing at the moment. They head into turn 7 at the moment, and is not going to make any moves at the minute, as Daniel Valle positions himself very well to keep hold of P12 from Emmy Nielsen.
Yeah, great battle between the two young drivers, as they're doing really, really well at the moment.
2 laps to go at the moment as it stands.
Yeah, things are going to get interesting, but Enes Parachki, I think, has the win in the bag, which is pretty good to see, as Groff will still be chasing down Kai Chereznia. All Jesper Johansson can do is just hope that Groff doesn't succeed with the move round the outside. Goes Chereznia to defend from him, and he hasn't succeeded with it, but this is going to bring Franco Gamba into the equation. Ooh,
yep, and there we go, add to the Paragolica now. I think that will make a good move now for Dennis Graf now. He's got enough of a speed now to make it work now, and alas, they're going to head into the hairpin now, and Kai Chereznia is just holding on to it just a little bit now. He's got the bit of the lead now, hiding down into turn 7, though. He needs to have enough speed in order to make a place. That was a bit sloppy there for Dennis Graf, and Kai Chereznia still holds on to 4th.
Yeah, really, really well done from Chereznia. Is doing an incredible defensive job right now, as there is McIntyre going to go around the outside of Laban. These battling a lot this race, as McIntyre's there on the inside line. He should be able to get it done, as Laban is going to try it on the inside line, but there's not much he can do, and thus it's going to be McIntyre up into 8th.
Yep, and Sadishki continues to dwindle once again now. It's now got Kulisic to defend from now, but now heading to the final lap now. So this is where all the positions go or they stay. And now Dansgraf is still making the move on Kai Teresian, though. He is still over the back of the Polish driver, though. The Kai Teresian has done absolutely amazing defending there, keeping the Red Bull driver behind him, though. And now all that defending is allowed for Franco Gamba, the Renault driver, to actually catch up now. But now Dansgraf will have his final DRS activation for this race, and now he's need to make the most of it now on Kai Teresian now. Now it all depends here. He's going to use the outside line on Parabolica now. He's got enough of the speed, and Dansgraf will get himself up to fourth, I believe, unless if Kai Teresian will get a better excel of the hairpin.
Yes, they're still going to be side by side. Chereshnia recovered that beautifully as they're going to head through turn number 7. Can Groff do it round the outside? Yes, he can. They're going to be wheel to wheel then as Kyle jumps over the curb a bit. That's going to give Groff the advantage as they go side by side. And Dennis Groff will be up into 4th. Great stuff from the world champion.
Yeah, and I think he's just trying to have a look down for the inside line, though. And Dansgraf goes a little bit wide, but he gets the better lead. And as Peralci goes ahead and takes a memorable win there for the German Grand Prix. Alfred Koss takes second, and Jesper Johansson takes third. Meanwhile, in the back here, Dennis Graf, who started 7th, he does his best. And he surely does it with wonders as he goes ahead and takes 4th, followed by Kai Teresian and Franco Gamba in 6th.
Yeah, great recovery drive from Dennis Groff, it has to be said. Same would go for this man in 11th. Fernando Tost, take a bow to him as well. But yeah, very, very well done from Enes Paratsky on this day, it has to be said. That will be his 4th win this season. And that is the most of anyone, I do think.
Yep. That was truly amazing there, and alas, the race is over. Fastest lap will go to I believe it is Jesper Johansson who gets the fastest lap so far, which is really impressive there from the Swede at least.
Yeah, great job from them. But let's go through the final classifications then. It's Enes Paratsky who wins the German Grand Prix, followed by Alfred Klaus in 2nd and Jesper Johansson rounding out the podium with the fastest lap point. So that is going to give him 1 extra point, which is going to be good to see. Dennis Groff finishes 4th to keep the championship fight alive. Kai Teresian is 5th with Franco Gamba in 6th. And it's going to be Mandich in 7th. Great day in the office for Racing Point, as Lewis McIntyre will be 8th with Labas Osniczka in 9th and Wojtek Kulasek rounding out the podium.
Points. Fernando Tost, he does a good recovery drive to get himself up to 11th, but alas, it won't be enough for points. He's 11th. Followed by him down on Vale, the Alfa Romeo driver. He's in 12th, which is interesting. Behind them, 13th to 14th goes to both Scuderia AlphaTauri drivers. The Estonian Avimi Nilsson is ahead of his teammate Alexander, which is the final race. Joseph Petruccio, a very good 15th there for the Williams driver, who gets himself ahead of Emi Koznicia. It's a bit disappointing how she dropped. She finishes in 16th. Luca Farina, who was last most of the time, he's managed to get himself a bit of salvation as he finishes in 17th for the Ferrari driver. And then followed behind him, Giulia Cisetti for the Italian driver, the second of the females. She finishes 18th. And then in last place, it is Victor Albob in 19th. And Jafari Blackwood does not finish after a collision with Lewis McIntyre on the first lap, and thus concludes the German Grand Prix results.
Yeah, that has been it then for the German Grand Prix. And before we go then, let's give out driver of the day. So what about you, Jamie?
I mean, there's quite a few I want to give it to, like Franco Gamba, who in a track as demanding as Hockenheim, to get himself up into 3rd in the early stages of the race in front of established names is in itself is like very impressive. But and there's also Kulisic as well, who managed to save himself on 2 wheels, which is equally as impressive. I'll give it to Enes Paratsky because he did really well in a battle with Jesper Johansson for a majority of the race, and then to pull away so fast. It can't be ignored, and I think that's why the Macedonian gets my driver of the day, especially in a high demanding circuit as Hockenheim. To do it that quick, that fast, it's really impressive.
Indeed, and the championship lead obviously is now down to 5 points heading into next week's race at the Nürburgring. But I will give my drive of the day to Fernando Tost, because I think from P18 all the way up into P11, That is a great performance on overtakes alone. So yeah, he gets my driver of the day. But that has been it for the ACOC. Thank you so much for watching the German Grand Prix. We will have one final race this weekend, which I do believe will be Super Formula at round 8 of the championship, which will be at the I have no idea. Wait, where is it? It's gonna be at Motegi. So make sure to not miss that race. But until then, I have been Miran.
And I've been Jamie.
Thanks so much for watching. The SSL will return tomorrow for Super Formula.